Another way of blending animations together in Unity is to use avatar and body masks for animation controllers. So something that you can do, for instance, is to have your animation controller with different layers. So what we see here is an example in which you have this robot that has different layers. One layer for is called the base layer, the basic layer with the 5D10 machines for the animations. Then you have a shooting layer and a gun layer. Okay, you're just gonna focus on these two over here. So this layer essentially what it does is just controlling the animation. So you can see how the animation locomotion state is configured, and you can look at what the animation for that particular object, right? If you go to the robot guard, you see that, as we've seen before, you can get to the controller by clicking here, and you will get to this screen. But what you can do as well is to look at the avatar. So the avatar, what it does, you can just click on here, find it in the project, and then you click on configure avatar. You're able to see the avatar. What it does is basically specify which part of the biped corresponds to which transform in the object itself, right, in the biped itself, which is very useful to map transform to specific parts of the body, to the head, to the hips, to the wrists, and so on, right? So as you can see here, this avatar is basically showing all in green. The base layer of this robot controller is applying to the whole avatar. So the animations that are playing in locomotion, the moving animations, they are controlling all the bones, all the transforms that are part of this biped. Now, what happens if you have, for instance, another animation that only applies to one part of the body? So let's say that we have an animation. This model has an animation which is called weapon shoot. So let's take a look at this one. So is this animation that is only moving the upper part of the body, right? So if you wanted to have an animation in which the biped is moving and at the same time is doing this shooting movement, then originally you might think that what you need to do is then to have an animation that is doing both things at the same time. But you have an animation for locomotion and you have an animation for shooting. Unity provides you with a way of merging these two animations, so part of the body is executing one animation and another part of the body is executing another part of the animation. So actually this shooting layer over here is it has another finite machine, so it's just another state. It starts there and it has different animation. This is weapon shoot, the one that we saw, but there's also one for raising the hand, another one for lowering the hand, so for raising and for lowering. So obviously when you play this animation, it's gonna move, gonna raise the weapon, then shoot, and then lower the weapon, and you can see how this actually exit here. So for instance, for raise, you can do this movement. For shoot, we have seen this already, and for lower, if you just go back to the original position, right? So this state does this transition, right? Raise, shoot, and lower. But this only applies to the upper part. So what this is, the way this is configured, this is done in a layer, and this layer, if you click on this cog over here, you can see that is associating its own mask. And again, we have this thing called enemy shooting mask, right? There are some other parameters that are specified here, like override or additive. Essentially, override what means is that this, whatever we are playing in these animations, is gonna, what this animation says, the transformations or the changes in the transforms that are being affected by the animation are gonna override whatever is happening in upper layers, like the base layer. Right, so you have, for instance, enemy shooting mask. We actually can watch this for a second. We can see that the humanoid is actually indicating that this layer, because it has this mask associated, is only gonna modify the transforms that are on green. So transforms of those parts of the body that we saw in the avatar that are in the green parts and not the ones in the red parts. So the base layer might be doing locomotion and that moves the whole body. And the shooting layer is going to take those animations that we have seen and it's going to modify the transforms of the object depending only on how the shooting animation modifies or transforms in the upper part of the body. And what I was showing here before, you have this override parameter that basically says that whatever this animation is doing takes precedence over what this base layer is doing. So the locomotion movement in the upper part of the body is not going to be applied while this one is being applied. There's also another option which is additive, which essentially what it does sort of like a blending in the blend tree scenario, right? It does this blending of the two animations together at the same time in the upper part of the body. And this is very useful because it's another way of blending different animations to be played at the same time in a body in different parts of the pipe.